Spring is in the air, and if you're like me, you may like to spring clean your closets. But have you ever thought about spring cleaning your finances? We have certified financial educator and author of How Money Works, Tom Mathews, here to explain. First off, welcome back to the show. We had you and Steve on last year and had such a blast. So we're glad to see you again.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, things have changed, right? A lot, Tom, in the past year. So this is very interesting to me. I love this topic. But how easy is it, especially right now, with people going through so much when it comes to finances because of the pandemic?
Well, what happens is, this is not taught in schools, as we talked about last year, and because of that, you're kind of blind a little bit. And if you get a little bit of knowledge, which is of course what we're trying to do with our book and our courses, it helps you to be prepared for the future. And if you're prepared for the future when it comes to your finances, then you've got the best chance of navigating it.
Okay, so you're going to help prepare us for the future right now, right? You have several tips that you want to share with our viewing audience. Let's start with number one. It's eliminating wasteful spending, right?
Sure. Well, just like when you spring clean your house, you're getting rid of the clutter in different places. But it's the same thing can happen with your finances. If you take a look at, for instance, if you made a list of the things you spend money on and look at that each month and you eliminate the things that you really don't need that could be eaten into your savings. I'll give you an example. Like if you took a look at your bank or your credit card statement and you'd be surprised at how many things you're charged for each month that you really didn't have any idea or hadn't thought about.
Right. I think a lot of people have gotten subscriptions, right? Maybe they signed up for a free trial and forgot about it, and they're still getting charged that every month. But I will say, for me, for example, I've been cooking a lot more, during the past year and not eating out as much. So that's a way that I have eliminated wasteful spending. All right, let's move on to number two, because you have several. Number two is get rid of your debt.
Well, debt's a killer. It's kind of a silent killer. It does things to your credit. It does things to your finances, does things to the amount of money you can save. And so there's some great ways to tackle that. And so we recommend that you pay down your biggest balance first. And you try and maybe if you've got some high interest rates, sometimes those are negotiable. So we suggest that people talk about that, or maybe transfer your balance to a credit card that has zero interest rate on balance transfers. And that way you're not wasting your money. And unfortunately, money wasted is money gone forever.
Yeah, that's so true. All right. Tip number three is review all insurance policies.
Well, that one's another one that sometimes people buy their insurance and just stick it in the drawer and forget about it. And so what we tell people is as your life changes, your needs for your insurance might change. And so you've got to take a look at where that is and what's going on with your insurance, all different kinds, your health insurance, your car insurance, your home and life, and make sure you got the right coverage for what's going on today, not what was going on 5 or 10 years ago.
Great advice. Tip number four, check your credit reports.
We know that's another thing that quite often people use their credit and they just don't think about ever actually looking at it. And we suggest that you go, pull a report. Often you can get those for free and take a look at it and see what's on there. There may be something on that doesn't belong there or something that's not yours. And anytime you look at your credit, you'll be able to do things to make your score go up.
All right. Tip number five, get professional help.
Well, like I said, this wasn't taught in schools. So this is something we don't recommend you do on your own. Like that commercial where you wouldn't give yourself surgery. We don't think you should really be the one focused on some parts of your finance. And so we want you to whether it comes to tax or investing or insurance or estate planning, we just don't think you ought to do it yourself. And not only can you avoid not making mistakes when you don't do it yourself, but you can end up not making mistakes that cost you so much money in the end because you didn't know all the possibilities that you had.
Now, you mentioned a little bit earlier that you have a course. Did I hear you say that right? That's a way that we can get, help from an expert, right?
You can. Well, we took our book and because of the pandemic, we put it on Zoom and we have courses now, classes that you can go on for 25 minutes at a time and learn this from a certified financial educator that could take you through the pieces of this and help you to understand it.
Awesome. Okay, let's get to your final tip, and that's set new financial goals. Can you give us some examples of goals we should set?
Well, sure. Spring is not a time just to clean up your house. It's a great time to set some new financial goals. And so whether it be a vacation you want to take, or sending your kids to college, or really anything, we think you need to lay out a solid plan. And a solid plan comes from a base of knowledge, like learning how money works, and then working with a professional that can help you to navigate the products and services out there to make sure you have the right ones for you.
Well, listen, How Money Works, your book, and I love Stop Being a Sucker. I love that part as well. This is a great place to start, right? This should be required reading for everyone, right?
Yes. It's been fun. This it's the top selling personal finance book of 2020. And we've just had a lot of fun educating people and giving them access to great products and helping them get their finances all straightened out.
Yeah, and you guys really make it simple, right? It's a good read, it's an easy read, and it's very important. All right, Tom, so good to see you again. Hopefully we'll see you next year, yes?
We will. Thank you for having me on again. Thank you.
No problem. Hey, you can get more advice or help by going to howmoneyworks.com.